Hey, it's me, Hannah. We're getting down to the end of fair season, and we'll be closing down the Maryland Renaissance Festival this weekend. And the best way to do that?
Fine leather goods.
At least I hope they'll be fine, because as you probably gathered from the title of this video, I'm making a leather bodice to wear alongside my friends for the closing weekend. And we're not making just any old leather bodice here. Let's add a little bit of spice.
Let me add a little bit of spice.
I want to go for an autumnal mushroom in the woods look to kind of go along with some of the more nature-inspired looks that my friends are planning. I'm actually going to start with a cosplay bodice pattern, which I'll link to down below. But rather than cutting the pattern pieces from foam, I'm going to cut them from leather. Alrighty, it's day 2. I have half of my leather pieces cut out with the holes pre-punched for stitching, and that took me like all evening yesterday. I don't know if I've mentioned this yet, but it's Wednesday. I started this yesterday, and the fair is on Saturday, so I've given myself 3 more days to work on this. So yeah, I'm gonna get the other half of the bodice pieces cut out as quickly as I can. Then I can get started on using some of these stamps to add a little bit of texture, a little bit of a pattern to the bodice pieces themselves. Then if the stars align, maybe we can even get to some dyeing tonight too. That is a tall order for today, so wish me luck. Look at how cute these turned out. I actually do really, really like them. I really like the texture. The mushrooms are maybe a little more like psychedelic funky than I am trying to go for, but I still think it's a cute little detail. To round out the specific mushroom detail, I think I will go ahead and get some dye out tonight and add just a little bit of red dye to the tops of the mushrooms. I don't want to finish dyeing the rest of the pieces because the second half of the bodice, I still need to punch holes for the stitching, which I'm so excited to get to. I can't wait to stitch this together. But I ordered a like tabletop hand press hole punch. So I am going to wait on that. Should be arriving tomorrow. So yeah, a little bit of red dye at the tops of the mushrooms, and then that'll be all the dyeing I do for this evening. Speaking of mushrooms, I found a pattern, or I guess it's a bunch of patterns for leather mushrooms from Nils Beardfoot. Specifically leather mushrooms that are meant to sort of adorn other leather pieces, like a leather chest armor or a leather bodice. I want to use a couple of these patterns to add little fun guys to my leather bodice. I'm sorry, that was so bad. Okay, it's day 3. I believe I have all of the pieces cut out that I'm going to need for the rest of this project. And cutting the leather pattern pieces seems so far to be the hardest part of all of this. So I'm glad that that's over. I still haven't received my leather hole punch, like tabletop hole punch press. So in the meantime, while I wait for that to arrive, I am going to work on putting together my mushrooms.
Now, did I immediately, overconfidently begin punching holes into some of these pieces without checking the instructions? Yes, I did. Thank you for asking. But did these pieces remain in frame as I filmed punching holes into the rest of the mushroom pieces? Also yes, but I will come back and show you how I actually ended up prepping the top pieces of what will end up being my favorite mushrooms of the 3 different types I created for this project. Just bear with me. So this is how you punch the stitching holes into the tops of these mushrooms. You don't go all the way through, but essentially just create channels on the underside of the leather for the thread to go through. it really makes a pretty big difference in the final product. I also finally received my tabletop hole punch press. It made punching holes into this leather so much easier and so much faster. And just knowing that I can use it on other projects like for metal eyelets or metal snaps, it just makes it such a worthwhile investment for me.
So now that I have all of the panels ready to go for the actual bodice of the piece, in terms of cutting, punching holes, adding stamps, and some texture, I'm ready to dye the leather. However, I can't find my dye. So what I'm going to do instead is leave it undyed, but add an antique finish to the piece. This is a dark brown antique finish, and I was doing some testing just to see what the color it might change to and see how it would fit in with the grooves and the red color that I've already added to the piece from a dye. And I think I'm pretty happy with that. I think it's kind of like a nice natural color. And I think I would have wanted to use this regardless of whether I had the dye. So I'm just cutting out a step and being more efficient. But I still do have a lot of panels I need to actually buff out and apply this antique finish to. So I'm gonna get started. I can't tell if it's because some of these are more damp from needing to do the hole punching tonight or what, but clearly we're getting some different colors here. I don't know. We're gonna wait and see.
Well, I'm hooked. I love leatherwork. Obviously, I still have so much more to learn and to practice, but I'd love to hear from other leather folk on what I did wrong, what I did right, what I can do better, what tools am I missing, what tools should I upgrade, anything. I'm clearly super new to leatherworking, but I'm fully invested, literally, because this is kind of an expensive craft, and I want to get better. As for this project, I am very pleased. I have used this bodice pattern before, but with foam, and I actually greatly prefer using it for leather. I want to come back and add more mushrooms and maybe even create some other accessories using the mushroom patterns I now have. I'll include links to where you can find the patterns below. Now, I don't know exactly how mushrooms came to walk so hand in hand with the Renaissance Fair, but when I arrived, I took on the side quest of foraging for mushrooms, and we had quite the bountiful harvest. I had so much fun meeting all of you fun guys. I'm sorry, I had to do it again. And most importantly, I had so much fun making this bodice. And if you had as much fun as I did, it would mean the world to me if you would like and subscribe. And if you do, I'll see you in 2 weeks for my next video. Take care.